What if I told you some of America's most iconic brands aren't so American anymore? The camera cuts to a Tiffany and Amp, Comte store on Fifth Avenue. That little blue box from Tiffany's, French. Your big ag seed supplier, German. Even that co-working startup with free beer on tap, mostly owned by a Japanese billionaire. Welcome to Personal Finance Time, where today we're uncovering the eye-opening truth about beloved U.S. companies that have been sold, in full or in part, to foreign owners. Grab your coffee or croissant and get ready for some finance twists with a dash of humor. Brief setup. In the past 5 years, a wave of foreign investment has swept up several big-name American brands. Sometimes it's a 100% outright buyout. Other times it's a majority stake or partnership. We're talking luxury jewelry, agriculture, tech, even shoes, all with new overseas parents. It's globalization in action, folks. Let's dive into the stories of 8 iconic American brands now under foreign ownership and why these deals happened. Some of these might make you go, wait, they own who now? Tiffany and Amp, Comte. An American jewel in French hands. Tiffany and Amp. Comte, founded in New York in 1837, long symbolized American luxury and romance. Remember breakfast at Tiffany's? Well, as of 2021, Tiffany's is dining on escargot because it's part of France's luxury empire. In a blockbuster $15.8 billion deal, Paris-based conglomerate LVMH, headed by Bernard Arnault, acquired Tiffany and Amp, Skechers. After some drama, including a pandemic-prompted price renegotiation, the deal closed in January 2021. LVMH, home to Louis Vuitton and Moet Champagne, couldn't resist Tiffany's famous diamonds. They dropped the price slightly during COVID turbulence, but by Jan 7, 2021, the little blue box had a tricolor ribbon on it. Now Tiffany's is as French as a croissant, or perhaps as French as the Statue of Liberty, which, fun fact, was also a French gift to America. Tiffany's new owners immediately shook up management. They installed new execs from Louis Vuitton and even brought in Arnault's son to help glitz up the brand. Bonjour, Tiffany! Why it matters. This iconic American jeweler is now boosting LVMH's jewelry portfolio. It highlights how even the most all-American brands can become part of a foreign company's collection in a global market. Next time you shop at Tiffany's, remember, you're indirectly supporting a French company's bottom line. Maybe practice saying merci when they hand you the bag. Speaking of big deals, let's move from diamonds to dirt. Well, more like seeds and pesticides. Monsanto, big ag goes German. Love it or hate it, Monsanto was a heavyweight of American agribusiness, known for GM seeds and the weed killer Roundup. In 2018, the St. Louis-based giant got gobbled up by Germany's pharma and chemical company Bayer. Yes, the folks famous for aspirin. Bayer announced a $66 billion takeover of Monsanto in 2016, and after navigating a maze of regulators, completed the purchase on June 7, 2018. Once the deal closed, Bayer promptly retired the Monsanto name, perhaps hoping people would forget the controversies. The sale was one of the largest in pharma agriculture history, truly supersized, like an order of German schnitzel with a side of American GM corn. At $63,066 billion, it's worth noting this deal was so pricey that by 2023, it was often cited as one of the worst corporate mergers in history due to legal liabilities Bayer inherited. Yikes! Bayer even dropped the Monsanto name entirely. You won't see Monsanto on the company door anymore. It's now just Bayer's agricultural division. Why it matters. Monsanto had deep roots in the U.S., founded 1901, and was entwined with American farming. Its foreign sale underscored how even critical food and ag companies can be sold off. The merger also sparked debate, from farmers worried about seed prices to environmentalists concerned about Roundup. For Bayer, it was a play to become an agrochemical superpower. For us, it's a reminder. In global biz, money talks and national identities can blur. The next time you pop an aspirin, Bayer for your headache, consider that Bayer also owns what was Monsanto, which might cause a headache for them in court. From a serious farm deal, let's head to something more urbane, or should I say, urban. Think hip offices, free beer, and a rescue by a tech tycoon from Japan? WeWork, the office party that turned Japanese. WeWork was once the poster child of crazy startup hype, an American-founded co-working company that promised to revolutionize workspaces. After a meteoric rise and a disastrous attempted IPO in 2019, WeWork was on the brink of collapse. Enter SoftBank, the Japanese tech conglomerate run by Masayoshi Son, to save the day, or try to. In October 2019, SoftBank swooped in with a $9.5 billion bailout, securing roughly an 80% stake in WeWork. That's right, WeWork went from an NY startup to effectively being controlled by a Japanese investor, though structured as an associate, to avoid full consolidation. SoftBank's rescue deal was jaw-dropping. They paid co-founder Adam Neumann a king's ransom, $1.7 billion goodbye package, to step aside. Imagine getting paid to leave your own party. SoftBank ended up committing over $13 billion total to WeWork, only to see WeWork's valuation plunge from 47 Bs to about $8 virtually overnight. Oops. As one headline put it, WeWork's board has signed off on a 9.5 B bailout from SoftBank, which will take an 80% stake, essentially giving SoftBank the keys to the WeWork kingdom. WeWork's story has elements of comedy and tragedy. Tequila shots at staff meetings, a CEO who thought he was living forever, and then a humbling sale where the new boss speaks softly with a Japanese accent and carries a big checkbook. Cue the turning Japanese soundtrack? Why it matters. This is a prime example of foreign investment via a majority stake rather than a full buyout. WeWork is still an American company on paper, but SoftBank, Japan, became the puppet master behind the scenes. It highlights how cash-strapped US startups might trade control for survival. Plus, it's a wild tale of how quickly fortunes can turn, reminding us that business isn't just Wall Street, it's also international investors from Tokyo to Riyadh calling the shots when things go south. And speaking of Riyadh, our next brand shows that even the future of electric cars can have oil money under the hood. Lucid Motors, Saudi Arabia's electric surprise. Lucid Motors is a Silicon Valley electric vehicle, EV startup often touted as a potential Tesla killer. But guess who's been bankrolling Lucid's American dream? Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, PF. In 2018-2019, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund poured over $1 billion into Lucid, becoming its majority owner. By the time Lucid went public via SPAC in July 2021, PF owned 60% of the company. Yes, a Saudi government fund holds the steering wheel of this California EV maker. It's deliciously ironic, oil-rich Saudi Arabia investing in electric cars. It's like a plot twist, the house of oil betting on the end of oil. Saudi's PIF, looking to diversify the kingdom's investments, grabbed a majority stake in Lucid in April 2019. They've since invested billions more to keep Lucid's ambitious plans on track. The result? Lucid Air luxury sedans are rolling off Arizona assembly lines thanks largely to Saudi money. The partnership is so close that Lucid is even building a factory in Saudi Arabia, and the brand joined the kingdom's Made in Saudi program. Why it matters. This is a story of globalization and strategic investment. America gets a new EV player creating jobs and innovation stateside, funded by capital from the Middle East. For Saudi Arabia, it's an image makeover. Hey, we're more than oil. For Lucid, deep pockets from abroad allow it to take on giants like Tesla. The mildly humorous angle? Imagine telling a 1950s Detroit auto exec that in 2025, an American car startup would be majority owned by a Saudi fund. They'd think you were lucid dreaming. But it's real, and it shows how borders mean little when it comes to big money and big ideas. From cars to carbs, who's up for takeout? Our next example serves up something many of us use when we're hungry. Grubhub. Your takeout is coming from Amsterdam. Grubhub, once a pioneer in app-based food delivery in the US, is no longer an independent American company. In 2021, Grubhub was acquired by JustEatTakeaway.com, a European company based in the Netherlands, in a $7.3 billion all-stock deal. This merger created one of the world's largest food delivery firms, with its headquarters in Amsterdam. So next time you order pad thai via Grubhub, just know a Dutch-headquartered firm is taking a slice of the delivery fee. The deal was announced in June 2020 and completed in early 2021. Just Eat Takeaway beat out Uber Eats in a bidding war to snatch up Chicago-based Grubhub. For a brief moment, the combined company was a transatlantic behemoth, operating in the US, UK, Netherlands, Germany, and more. The CEO of Just Eat Takeaway, Jitse Groen, a Dutchman, went from running a European outfit to suddenly overseeing American Grubhub as well. Ironically, this story has an aftertaste. By 2022-2023, Just Eat was having indigestion over the deal and started looking to sell Grubhub. Running a food delivery empire during a pandemic boom and post-pandemic bust is rough. In 2023, they ended up selling Grubhub at a huge loss. But that's another drama. The key point, for a few years there, the quintessential American way of getting pizza in your PJs was managed from Europe. Maybe that's why those 2 a.m. orders felt a bit more cultured? Why it matters. Grubhub's sale underscored how even tech companies that start in the USA often become part of bigger international platforms. It's globalization meeting your dinner delivery. It also reflects how cutthroat and consolidated the food app market has become. Don't be surprised if the app you use was born in one country, owned in another, and partnering with restaurants in a third. Bon appetit, globalization! Now from delivering pizza to delivering robot dogs? This next company is a wild ride, literally. Boston Dynamics, US robot dogs. Join a Korean pack, Boston Dynamics. You've seen their viral videos of robot dogs opening doors or dancing to Bruno Mars. This cutting-edge robotics firm spun out of MIT as an American tech gem. But as of 2021, it's majority owned by Hyundai Motor Group of South Korea. Hyundai acquired an 80% stake in Boston Dynamics from Japan's SoftBank in a deal valuing the company at $1.1 billion. The agreement was announced in December 2020 and completed by June 2021, making the South Korean automaker the new owner of those famous robots. SoftBank retained the other 20% for a while. Boston Dynamics has had more international handoffs than a relay race. Google US bought it in 2013, then SoftBank Japan in 2017, and then Hyundai South Korea in 2020. Talk about globetrotting! Hyundai's motive? They're aiming to combine robotics with their automotive and industrial know-how. The Hyundai deal literally put a Korean chaebol in charge of American robots that were originally funded by the US military DARPA program. Kinda sci-fi, isn't it? On the lighter side, maybe we'll see Boston Dynamics' robot spot doing K-pop dances now that it has a Korean boss. Imaginary scene of robots dancing to BTS. Hyundai's chairman Yoo-sun Chung even said robotics will make up 20% of their future business. So if your next Hyundai car comes with a robo-dog in the trunk, you heard it here first. Why it matters. This sale exemplifies two trends: foreign companies investing in US tech and the convergence of industries, cars plus robots. It also highlights how innovation isn't bound by borders. The US developed some amazing robotics tech, and now a global marketplace is helping fund and commercialize it. For tech enthusiasts, as long as the robot revolution comes, maybe it doesn't matter if it's led by a company with headquarters in Seoul or Boston. Just be nice to your future robot overlords, wherever they hail from. We've covered jewelry, farms, offices, cars, food, robots. What about something a bit more down to earth, like the shoes on your feet? Skechers, from LA Gear to Latin America, Brazilian buyout. Skechers, the California-based shoe brand known for comfy sneakers, quietly joined the ranks of American brands snagged by foreign investors. In September 2025, Skechers went private in a $942 billion deal with 3G Capital, a Brazilian-led private equity firm. Yes, the company that brought us those chunky dad shoes is now owned by the same Brazilian billionaire-backed firm behind Burger King and Kraft Heinz. The deal was announced in May 2025 and closed on September 12, 2025, ending Skechers' nearly 3 decades on the New York Stock Exchange. 3G Capital, co-founded by Brazilian magnates Jorge Paulo Lemann, Alex Baring, and others, is infamous for aggressive cost-cutting. They helped merge Heinz with Kraft and once tried to buy Budweiser. They don't mess around. Now they've laced up Skechers. The founding Greenberg family, father-son duo Robert and Michael, will still run the business day-to-day, but 3G holds the purse strings. Going private means Skechers can now restructure away from Wall Street's eyes. Perhaps slimming down like one of those weight loss shoes they sold? Insert light joke. We just hope they don't introduce zero-based budgeting to shoe design. We like our sneakers with soles, thanks. The 9.4B price tag shows how valuable Skechers had become, from its 1990s LA Lights days to a global footwear player. For 3G, known for value investing, Skechers is like finding a rare sneaker grail. For Skechers, it's a chance to expand globally with 3G's backing. Brazilian flair, anyone? Carnival-themed sneakers? Why it matters. This is a fresh example, 2025, of private equity from abroad taking over a US consumer brand. It underscores that nationality of ownership can change even for household names. Skechers shoes might scream Southern California cool, but their owners now hail from Rio, financially speaking. It's a reminder that behind the logo on your favorite products, the shareholders might be on another continent. The world of finance truly has no borders, just like 3G's appetite for iconic brands. Our final stop is a telecom tale, an old phone company with a new international calling code. Sprint, an American carrier, gets German parents. Remember Sprint? If you had a cell phone in the 90s or 2000s, you might. Sprint was a major American telecom company headquartered in Kansas. But after a big merger in 2020, Sprint is effectively owned by Germany's Deutsche Telekom now. How? Sprint merged with T-Mobile US, the magenta-colored Un-carrier, in April 2020, a deal valued at $26 billion. Post-merger, the combined company operates as T-Mobile, and Deutsche Telekom, a German corporation, is the majority owner of the new T-Mobile US. The Sprint brand was phased out in 2020. This one's a bit of a twist. Sprint actually had been controlled by a foreign company even before the T-Mobile merger. Japan's SoftBank, the same SoftBank from WeWork, bought a majority of Sprint back in 2013. But the 2020 merger truly sealed Sprint's fate. T-Mobile US was majority owned by Deutsche Telekom, and merging meant Deutsche Telekom now called the shots over the combined entity. In fact, the US Justice Department noted at the time, Deutsche Telekom AG is the controlling shareholder of T-Mobile US Inc. Sprint is controlled by SoftBank Group Corp., a Japanese corp. After merging, Deutsche Telekom's stake was about 60%, and they later even increased it slightly. So essentially, one of the big four US wireless carriers became a German-led company. It's as if an American phone company got a passport stamped, "Made in Germany." Cue the jokes about getting free pretzels with your phone plan, or customer service saying Guten Tag. Okay. In reality, T-Mobile US operates independently day to day, but you get the humor. Why it matters. Telecom is often considered a strategic industry. Sprint's journey from American-owned to Japanese investment to German majority ownership shows how global capital finds its way even into critical infrastructure. Consumers might not notice. Their Sprint phones just switched to T-Mobile and kept working. But behind the scenes, ownership and profit flows changed continents. It's a reminder that even your phone provider might have a foreign parent company. In a connected world, even the networks connecting us are connected to global business moves. The big picture and AMP, lighthearted wrap-up. So, what have we learned on this globe-trotting tour of American brands? Whether it's Tiffany's glittering jewels now under the French, or Monsanto's GMO seeds now German-owned, or robot dogs prancing to a Korean beat, the theme is clear. Money knows no borders. Iconic US companies can and do get sold to foreign investors if the price is right or the strategy fits. Sometimes it's to inject cash into a struggling firm, hello, WeWork. Other times it's to merge and scale up, cheers, Grubhub, or to tap new markets and technology, Lucid and Boston Dynamics, or simply cashing out a successful brand, Skechers. But let's not frame this as good or bad in a moral sense. It's the reality of a global economy. US brands going abroad in ownership is the flip side of foreign brands we enjoy here. Toyota, anyone? Consumers typically won't see much difference day to day. A Tiffany ring still sparkles just as bright. Yet, it is a bit mind-bending to realize how international the business behind our favorite brands can be. If you found this eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe to Personal Finance Time for more surprising insights and finance stories with a twist. Question for viewers: which brand on this list shocked you the most? Was it the 63B Monsanto mega deal, or Tiffany's French connection, or something else? Let us know in the comments. We read them all and might even respond with more fun facts. Thank you for watching. Remember, the world of personal finance and business is full of surprises. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you in the next video. Until then, this is Personal Finance Time, signing off with a friendly au revoir, y'all.